let me explain why we're so late today, just to add more times tonight.
We're gonna
Bridget.
Yes.
So our little mixer back there decided to erase it.
We were on time.
So very quick, I have to fix everything. But that's okay, because that means tonight's gonna be awesome, right? Right? All right, and Josh on AC2, not AC1. Channel 12.
She's been on
Alright.
social media.
You already watched it?
Started.
We're short-handed today. That's just, why don't you guys stand on up? We don't have full stage. We don't have to do it.
Yeah, that's it. So he wanted to. He's like, oh, wait, they win baseball team gets it on after freaking 4 days. But even now, we have to do it just like the flu. Not an organization. And I realize it's serious. I'm going to a funeral and someone died from it. I understand it's real. I'm not that person. And I know that's because I'm not that person. I'm pretty sure it raised to our house about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It says 8 about it. 2 days later, I got it. 24 hours later, I got it. 24 hours later, I got it. I was sitting around at work.
All right,
So I got bored and did that.
Yeah, I get one view from Caleb. Y'all ready to watch it?
Yeah!
What are you doing wrong back here?
When I was searching, but I was never found. When we get to me, you were the whisper, leading me to your heart. Forever I want you. Now I can see you. My God, you for me. You won't let go of your love. Won't let me down. You know it's true. You know it's true. Love is all around. I believe you. Holding on to you. Holding on for you and everything. Holding on for you never change. Love won't let me down. Love won't let me down. Love won't let me down. Right when I need you, you listen as I pray. You lead the night like me, you paint the sky with promises of your grace. So I find you. All the morning time for you will never fail. I want you, you will never change. Love won't let me down. Love won't let me down. Love won't let me down. When all of you never change your love, won't let me down. Love won't let me down. No, your love won't let me down. Your love won't let me down. So this song's kind of older, but it's really good. It's song I really want to give himself. Serenade. The word is still very powerful and it's going to flow well into really have to preach about that. If you ever sing along, you know, it's really long. When the music fades and all is stripped away, and I simply come, longing just to bring something that's that'll bless your heart. I'll bring you more than a song, for a song in itself is not what you have required. You search much deeper within the way things appear. You're looking into my heart. I'm coming back to the heart of worship. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry for the thing I've made. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. King of endless world, no one could express how much you deserve. Though I'm weak and poor, all I have is yours. Every single breath, I'll bring you more than a song. For a song in itself is not what you have required. You search much deeper within than the way things are. You're looking into my heart. I'm coming back to the heart of worship, and it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the thing I've made. It's all about you. All about you, Jesus. Nothing else, nothing else, nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else, Nothing else, nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else, nothing else, nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else, nothing else, nothing else will do. Caught up in your presence, I just wanna sit here at your feet. Caught up in this holy moment, never wanna leave. And I'm not here for blessing. Jesus, you don't know me anything more than anything you can do. I just want you. God, thank you for tonight. Thank you for coming to worship you. And as short as it was, we called it. God, we still worship you. God, thank you for this time to come to you with a heart of worship. God, please bless Betty as she brings the word tonight. That falls on each and every one of our hearts that we don't need to sing. We all this in your precious and holy name. And I said, Amen.
Hi guys. How are you guys doing? Good? I know, I feel like people are tired. We've got a smaller crew tonight for various reasons. But we are so excited that you guys are here, that you are joining us because we are kicking off a new series tonight. But I want us to do something, okay? As we get started. All right. So I want us to put down all phones, all technology, all everything in our hands. Everything, right? Close your eyes. Okay? For the next 15 minutes, we're just going to talk. So I want you to take a deep breath in, deep breath out. All right, we're not thinking about school. We're not thinking about family stuff we might have. We are not thinking of the pile of dishes that we're going to get yelled at for when we go home. All right, not thinking about it. Next 15 minutes, it's not there. It doesn't exist. Okay? So open your eyes. We're going to focus and we're going to talk about something tonight that is so important, but it's also like super simple. Okay? Because tonight we are kicking off our series, Back at It. And when we were thinking about series to start, when we were thinking about topics that we were going to dive into together, we kept thinking of this like back at it. We're back in the routines. We're back in the building for school, a lot of us. Whereas last year, you maybe got a little snippet. We're back into different routines, back playing sports with our teams, back into some semblance of normal. We're not having to wear masks on our face every single place we go. We're back at certain things. And while they look differently than they used to, still, right? We're still working towards normal. We're getting back to a lot of things that are life-giving, that are important and exciting and just good. And so we are getting back into these things, but once we get back into routines, have you guys ever tried to start a new habit or like get rid of a habit? All right, tell me, raise your hand if you were like, oh yeah, it was nothing, it was so easy. Put your hands down, we're in God's house, come on. That was not easy. Picking up a new habit is not easy. Even if we want it, even if we're like, yes, this is gonna happen. I'm gonna do good in this, I'm gonna do better in this. You still have to put in this work, you have to be intentional about it. And so for this series, we're talking about routines. incorporate these things called spiritual disciplines into our routines. These spiritual disciplines. Raise your hand. Have you guys heard that before? That's a very churchy word. Spiritual disciplines. All right. So for those of you guys who haven't heard of it, it's not like being punished spiritually. All right. This is not discipline spiritually. We're not talking about that. Everyone went, no. Spiritual disciplines, I looked up a phrase, I looked up different definitions of what it looked like, right? Or how people describe them. And I like this one. It said they're habits, practices, and experiences that are designed to help us develop, grow, and strengthen. These are things that help us spiritually to grow, develop us, and strengthen our walk with God. And they're just practices, they're habits. So they're things that we incorporate into our day-to-day lives, right? Easy enough? Not like making your brain hurt after a day of school. But I wanted to start with a little anecdote, a little story, and a question. Okay, and I have some visuals because I'm a very visual learner. Okay, I like to see things. And so there's this old story of a guy who had 2 dogs. Okay? So one dog was good. It was good. It had good qualities like virtue and just kindness and goodness, right? And the other dog was bad. As if there's good, there's got to be bad, right? So we got some little horns for him. But he was bad. He represented vices such as like greed, lust. These things are bad. Okay? And so these dogs were constantly at war with each other. They were fighting. And this is my interpretation of Doodle Dog sighting. Okay, we're on Charlie Brown. They're constantly at war with one another. So which dog wins? Which dog? Which dog do you think? The good dog? Bad dog? Neither. Okay. This is one of those questions, it's kind of like the dad was here earlier, right? The dog that wins is the one that was fed. Think about that. The dog that wins when they're fighting against each other is going to be the dog that was fed, that ate, that was given strength, that could go up against the other one. And in our lives, we have, sometimes it's like tug of war. We have opposing things, fighting for our attention, fighting for our time, fighting for all of these different things in our lives. And the one that's going to win out is the one that you, whether with your time, with your money, with your whatever, that's going to be the one that wins. And so we're talking about things that grow because what we feed in our lives will grow, good or bad. What we feed, what we give attention to, what we give the time of day, what we spend time doing, those things will grow in your life, guaranteed. Another phrase that I heard this week was, the grass is greener where you water it. Which makes sense. It's not greener someplace else unless you're not watering your own grass, your own space. You're not taking care of what you need to take care of. Okay? And so today we're talking about something that it ties in with this. Because if we're feeding things in our lives, they're either helping pull us toward God or taking us away from Him, right? If it's a type of war, if you're going one way or the other, you're moving because you're feeding into things. And one of the things that helps move us toward God is worship. And worship is so important. And so worship, though, a lot of times can be misconstrued. It can be thought of as only what we just did. Right? When you guys think of worship, how many of you guys think of music right off the bat? That's not bad, man. Yeah. It's not bad. But you know that worship is so much more than music? It goes beyond that. Because worship isn't just what we do. It's who we are and what we're called to be, what we're called to do. We are worshipers by our very nature. Do you guys get that? Do you guys see that in your lives? We are worshipers. We worship every day with things that are important to us. Because those things are put above other things. They're given higher priority. And so you guys are probably thinking about things that are higher priority. There's, this or that game, right? If I put Reese cups or Reese shapes. Some of you guys are like, shapes? What are Reese shapes? Y'all need Jesus. first. But second, it's pumpkins, it's trees, it is eggs. All right, so if I said Reese's cups or shakes, raise your hand if you are cups. You prefer cups. The OG over. Okay, shakes. The blessed ones. So, there are, if you don't know what I say, we'll talk later. But the whole idea is we have priorities. We pick things constantly and pick things over other things. But when we are worshiping, it's not just for a moment, but for as a part of who we are, it's drawing us closer to who God is, and that moves into it, like overtakes our lives. It's not just this single pinpoint. Worshiping with music becomes a part of a greater story, a greater symphony, a greater timeline. It's a part of it. But it's us. It's who we are and who we're called to be, and leaning into that with God. Because we worship what we love. And that's, for us to enter into worship with God, we have to love Him above all else. Because if we worship what's important to us, that's at the top. So if we worship with God, that's what's our priority. Because if I say worship, like that sounds like an intense term, right? You guys know people that like worship stuff, not worship songs, right? But like worship stuff casually. No, they stuff casually. If I say someone worships something, that's not casual. That looks like this. I have pictures of sports fans who worship teams. And I say worship because they look like some of these things that are going to pop up on the screen. They paint their faces. There's one guy who straight up has, he's a Vikings fan, and he has like Viking braids, and he straight up has like NFL freak on his arm. There it is. NFL freak, and he's got a Viking tattoo on the other one. Like, he's not casual about that team. That is on his body for life. Okay? We have another one. We have a couple other ones, but that one just cracked me up. This one, like, that's so much time. Like, this is like, I don't even know. I don't even know what to compare it to, but that's insane. And then, of course, we have shown
It might just be,
one.
yeah.
Might just be a December game.
Yeah.
Because there's a guy, what's he called, the Nut? This one, Big Nut? Whatever his name is, he's over here. And there's all these guys. They are not casual about their teams. These are not guys who are going to jump ship with bad season. These are not bandwagon fans. They are in it for the long haul. Because they're in. Because worship is a priority to them. And so that's how we're called to be with God. We see an example of this in Scripture. We look in Acts chapter 16. These are two guys who you probably are familiar with their names, maybe a little bit of their stories. It's Paul and Silas. And so they are put in this cell. They're fastened with their feet in the stocks. And at about midnight, they were praying and singing hymns to God. The other prisoners are listening to them. Suddenly there was such a violent earthquake that the foundations of the prison were shaken, and all at once the prison doors flew open and everyone's chains came loose. You're like, that is the kind of prayers I need to be praying, right? Like, those are the kind of things I want to be happening in my life. I want to just pray and like sing a song and then like boom, doors bust off buildings. Like, that would be the coolest thing ever. If that happens in your prayer life, we will talk afterwards. But worship here is not just an action. It's not just an action that's dependent upon circumstances, guys. They're in prison. They're in prison. And they're praying and singing. And it doesn't say like they're praying, hey God, can you just have a situation? Like, that'd be real awesome. And you'd be real cool. And, we'd appreciate it. Or like, make that guy fall asleep and just like the keys will just roll over there somehow, define physics, because they knew about that in Bible times. And then unlock the door, right? No, they're praising God because they knew that worship means thanking Him because He's good, even when our situation isn't good. This past year, 2020, I don't think any of them used the word good to describe it. Like, maybe certain aspects of things that happened, but like, no one's going to say, 2020, that was a good year, man. That's one for the books. Oh, opposite day. What we're here for. No, it's not happening. But worship is not dependent on what's going on around us. Worship is us drawing closer to our Creator because it's a relationship. It's a relationship. It's us approaching God. It's us approaching Him. And you guys might see a lot of times during worship, I know the lights are on, and some people might feel uncomfortable about raising hands or different things like that, but in big church here, I know, I say big church, I'm forever a kid, it's fine. In big church, you will see people raising their hands, putting their hands out, and sometimes they go like this. Both of their hands just out. This is a posture of worship. But I think it's also good because this shows, just like there's two dogs, there's two approaches to this action, to having your hands out. This is either give me or open, like take it. And so if we have an approach to worship like, God, what are you going to give me? What are you going to give me right now? What do I get? This is what I think of when I think of giving, like a little kid. If we approach worship this way, we're always going to leave empty-handed, friends. Always. But if we go up to God and we say, God, how can I look more like you? How can I dig a little deeper? How can I do this? How can I bring you glory in this situation that stinks? That makes no sense. How can I become more like you? How can I draw closer to you, reflect you better, so that my life, I'm a sacrifice, a beacon, just pointing people back to who you are. Show me how. Take whatever, give me whatever. Like, I'm here, just I'm open. That's when we engage in worship differently. That's when we get something out of it because we're asking God, what do you want to give me? What do you want to take from me? What do you want? I'm here. I'm here. I'm in. That's when we participate in worship. That's when we walk away, maybe not satisfied with the situation, but we walk away satisfied with our part in it. We walk away satisfied with where God is calling us to be, what He's calling us to do. So that's how we need to engage in worship. It's not just a song. Guys, I love worshiping with music. But if it stays there, that's singing. Worship goes beyond. Worship goes out the doors to where you guys are going. So that's what I want us to talk about tonight. When we go to our small groups, you guys are going to dig in. You guys are going to look at what you're worshiping. Because like we said, we are all worshipers by nature. Whether you realize it or not, you are worshiping. You are prioritizing things in your life. Are you happy with your priorities? When you open up your hands, whether you actually physically do this or not, when you approach God, are you giving? Are you approaching Him saying, God, I'm here. I'm ready. I just want to become more like you, whatever that looks like right here. So I just want to close this in prayer before we head out to small groups. God, thank you so much for tonight. We thank you for this opportunity to be together. We pray that you would be with us, keep us safe, keep us healthy. All of those in the building and watching online. We're just so glad that you met us here. Or that you invite us to be a part of a relationship and engage in worship. That you made us in your image to literally be walking reflections of who you are. So guys, as we go to small groups, I just pray that you would be over conversation. That you would be a part of these, that we wouldn't just say, oh yeah, like, my priorities are great. But we might be honest. We might dig in, even if we're just thinking about it, just start to talk about these things. We can encourage each other in every way. God, we love you. It's in your name. Amen. All right, guys. We're going to head to small groups. If you don't know who your small group leader is, come find me. Otherwise, your leaders are along the back. Find them. Find a spot. Walk and talk.
We did last week. We just did put it together.
Music's Christian.